Hello, everyone, and welcome to OGTV Books, where I add value to your life through books. Today, I'm going to be discussing the book called Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. This book was very challenging for me, honestly, because it was written like a textbook. So I had to change my mindset from storytelling to actually like nerdy reading. Like I had to change my mindset, like picture myself in school, pretty much. But it is a very unique book, even though it's written very technically, in my opinion. It tries to combine science and the religion to explain actually how our brain works. It did a very good job in doing that, but you have to be very focused while reading this book. If not, you can get lost. But nevertheless, I did derive life lessons as usual from this book, which I will explain later in my video. So, the book is divided into two parts, where the first part actually tells you how to switch on your brain, as the title implies, and the second part of the book talks about how to detox your brain. Um, I'll touch lightly on both parts, and of course, if you want more scientific details, of course, make sure you go and read the book, switch on your brain. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is our minds. Apparently, according to the book, it says that the brain cannot function without the mind. So, mind controls matter. I'm going to use an example. My favorite example would be relationships. But in this case, it's going to be about a breakup, right? So, assuming you go through a very hurtful breakup with your partner, assuming that's the thought in your mind. Now, the next step you take is usually very crucial. And all this happens in a place called as subconsciousness. That is where we develop our thoughts. That is where 95% of our thoughts come from, according to this book. So, assuming, like I said, you go through a breakup, in your subconscious mind, let me ask you this question: do you seek revenge or would you seek closure? Now, depending on the answer you pick, it will determine if it's a toxic thought or a healthy thought. So, that moves me to my next reason, which is known as choice. The author does explain that everyone has a free will to choose either a toxic thought or a healthy thought. So, according to her, the brain is not fixed. It is very malleable. It changes depending on what choices we end up making. And everybody has a free will, no matter what level of mental health you're on. Everyone has a free will to choose. This is going according to the book. She does list some Bible verses in the book. Like I said, if you want more details in terms of religion, you refer to the book. So, assuming, like I said, you go through a breakup, you decide to go the route of revenge, correct? Now, when you get to the part of your brain that allows you to make a choice, you have that option to convert that toxic thought to a healthy thought. So instead of seeking revenge, and what I mean by revenge, some people, depending on their state of mind, can go all the way to getting a weapon and hurting other people, including the one that they broke up with, which should not be the case. That's not the route we want to go. But unfortunately, we see this happening around the world. People break up and they can't take it and they end up killing multiple people who have nothing to do with the relationship, and they end up shooting themselves. The point I'm trying to make in this video is, if we can try to bring up that toxic thought from our subconscious mind and decide to make a choice to change it to closure. I cannot stress this enough. It is very important to have closure in your life when it comes to relationships. Not everybody can do it on their own. And if you can't do it on your own, there is no shame in being a therapist. I am always rooting for therapists because it's not easy to go into someone's mind and work with them step by step to get them to where they need to be mentally. Well, like I said, there is no shame in seeing a therapist. Please avoid unnecessary harm to oneself as well as to others. So in this case, I will plead to please pick closure. That way, you can be at peace with yourself. You can find peak happiness when you have picked that option. You decide to create better memories in your brain. And hopefully, when you do seek closure, the other partner who you broke up with will have closure as well. And then you both can move on with your life. Like I said, it's not easy, but it is doable. We need to take responsibility for our thoughts, for our actions. We cannot say, oh, I don't know what my brain was thinking, I don't know what I was doing, when you have plotted months after months how to harm people, all because of breakup. Oh, let's see. So that's about the part one. The next part, the author talks about detoxifying your brain. According to the author, she states that it does take at least 21 days for us to detox our brain, and she goes through the steps. Sometimes we have to repeat the cycle multiple times before we can end up getting a healthy thought. In short, she does say you gather your thoughts, then you focus and reflect on that thought, then you write it down so that it sticks to your memory. After that, you revisit the thought, and then you perform something called an active reach of that thought, where you now perform the action. You go with the decision you've decided to make at the end. And all that cycle takes at least 21 days. And if you fail the first one, don't give up. Keep trying. That is the important thing. I decided to list 3 quotes that stuck with me while reading the book. So I hope you will gain something from these quotes I read out. The first one is, although you may not be able to control your environment all the time, you can control how it affects your brain. The second quote, happiness comes from within and success follows, not the other way around. I repeat, happiness comes from within and success follows, not the other way around. And then the third one is my favorite. It says, you can learn how to learn and deepen your intellect. You cannot wish for something to manifest and sit down there and wait for it to come. Even if you don't know how to do it, you can do research, you can ask others, you can learn, watch videos, ask questions. So the goal of this video is to encourage each and every one of us to try and convert our toxic thoughts into healthy thoughts. Let's try and convert I can't to I can. If you enjoyed watching my video, make sure you subscribe to my channel at OGTV Books, and I'll see you next